Welcome to another edition of the Viral Virtue Show. This is that show that promotes a culture of good character, morals, and values. And you know, it's always a pleasure to have you join us in the studio. My name is Abiodun, and with me in the studio I have...
Mali.
Ruth. Okay, you've told us you're fine. They know you now. All right, so Ruth and Mali, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Today's edition, we'll be looking at navigating office politics.
Wow.
Navigating office politics. And what are we talking about? You know, when you think of the word politics, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but immediately, you know, there's just this drawback. But I believe that by the time we look into this topic very well, we'll have a very balanced view of what politics is.
Yeah.
Office politics refers to the activities, strategies employees use to gain power and influence within the workplace. So what are all these strategies? What are these activities? What do they want to gain? Are they doing it the proper way? Sometimes to advance personal interests, while sometimes to enhance their career goals. So that's what we'll be talking about. What do you have to say, man?
Well, you've said it all for me. Well, from your definition or your explanation of what office politics is.
Yeah.
The three key things that stand out for me:
Yeah.
power, influence, and relationship management. So to gain the power and influence, you know, you have to know how to manage your relationship.
Yeah.
But basically, so I would say that I think office politics is basically knowing how to manage relationships in the corporate environment. Yes.
What do you have to say, Ruth?
Okay, before now, office politics would have been in the very negative light. Like trying to maneuver your way to gain acceptance, to gain favor with the leadership in the office place, like management. And sometimes it could come off as snitching on colleagues and all that. But with this, it has given a different look entirely, even though it's not void of my initial understanding about it. So it's a thing of trying to see how you could build your career goal. So office politics is coming off well.
You know, you know, the good thing about it is that we have a seasoned professional, you know, that will come on set and throw more light on what office politics and how to navigate it. So we'll take a break, and when we come back, there is more.
I was born under complicated circumstances.
Back at home, I felt rejected and sad.
I felt I wasn't good enough.
He was very, very possessive.
I got pregnant. I had a baby. Then I dropped out of school.
I'm sick and tired of this life I'm leaving. Somebody tell me why am I still breathing?
I went back to the Word of God.
Right now, I know who I have on the inside of me, and I know who I am.
Strive for excellence and give it your absolute best every time you get a chance.
We will pray some more. We will dance, we will sing, we will love you more. On and on, we proclaim you, Lord. We scream from the bottom of our hearts. I don't want this to end. I don't want this to end.
All right, welcome back. This is still the Viral Virtue Show, that show that promotes a culture of good character, morals, and values. Before the break, we're talking office politics, and I promise you that we have a seasoned professional come to do justice to it. So welcome, Mr. JT Oshoke.
Thank you.
It's nice to have you.
Welcome, sir.
And it's always, always a pleasure to have you join us in the Viral Virtue studio.
Thank you.
Welcome. So what's up? What have you been up to since the last time you were here?
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure too, and it's a new year, so
Yeah.
happy New Year, everyone. Oh yeah, so it's been so before the last time. So we had change in governments in Nigeria, and it's been recalibrating and adjusting to the new. So, but we thank God, everything has been well. We give glory to God in all things. Yeah. So it's a new year, new season. So great expectations for the new year. So let's roll with the topic for today.
Yeah. Well, before we roll with the topic, I know you're a transitional coach and you're a HR
Yes.
professional. So let's tell us more about HR and what you do.
Okay. So I'm a human resource management professional and also a career coach and corporate trainer. So I basically work more with career professionals, and I help career professionals who are desirous of transitioning, those who no longer find fulfillment in their careers, get back that dream they've always had and help them transition them from where they are to where they desire to be, just like putting a smile back in their career. What I try to do is to create that belief that it is possible to enjoy what you do, so that you don't have to ever work a day in your life. Just so that I see the beautiful faces here today. I see you all smiling and excited. Even those behind the cameras. You see, when you do what you love, it doesn't feel like work. It just feels like I'm having fun. At the same time, I'm getting paid for doing it. So I've experienced it in my career. So I try to also see how to help others achieve the same feeling in their career.
Wow, that's a lot. Well done on all you do. So before you came on set, we were talking office politics. And, while you were talking, you said you help people put the smile back on their faces. And, one of the things that take the smiles off people's faces is politics, office politics. Before now, like you said earlier, for me, politics has always been, office politics has always been negative because, it has this negative connotation of bringing people down and all of that. It had always been negative. But recently, in recent years, I started to see certain things that, they say, from his definition, we say we are looking for power, influence, and relationship management, which is not necessarily bad, but it's how you navigate the whole stuff. So tell us more, what's office politics? What's it all about?
Yeah. So just taking a cue from where you stopped or landed. So office politics, I could hazard that, especially for people who are, in quotes, good people who have good morals and backgrounds, they see that once you hear politics, so the word is so negative to them, and then they attack it or approach it from that eye, right? But as you get along, you just observe that every human being, we're all in the mode of self-preservation. Everybody wants to get ahead. So in whatever you do, we all want an advantage for ourselves. So if you look at it from a neutral perspective, office politics is just simply how you relate in the office to try to gain an advantage. Whilst it play out in some places more than in others, it all depends on the culture that organization kind of is as imbibed from the get-go. Or the sector. In private sectors, let's say one-man business, where everybody wants to, give you an example, high service.
Yes.
You want to do things, you want to lick the boots so that you can get ahead in your career. You want to be more influential, you want to align with. But if you look at it from a neutral perspective, you just say, hey, this is about strategy. It's about strategic alignments. It's about positioning.
True.
How do I get ahead, but not to the detriment of others? So I think the negative side is what we've always dwelt on, and rightfully so. But if you go to the civil service or the public service, you see that this is really where it's quite strong and heavy there. To the extent that it can even get really diabolical, and you can really cross certain red lines. But I think what we want to focus on is, so how do we navigate this office policy? But just to say, sometimes It's just a bit of both. It's not exactly too bad, and it's not exactly, well, if you go to the extreme of the negative, of course, that's not where we want to go to.
Exactly.
So there are positives that you can actually draw from office politics. So as we get along in the conversation, we'll see how to draw out those positives.
True. Thank you so much. Reverend Mali, I know apart from being an accountant, you also are a HR professional. Yeah. So politics, office politics, tell us more about it.
Let me start by saying the place of value cannot be overemphasized. We talk so much about corporate values, but we should also have individual values. So once there is no clash between a personal value and a corporate value, things go well. Now, since we are driving positively, I'll say this is a time to advocate personal value cultivation. What are your values? What are things that you will not do? Because in that atmosphere, we can say, we don't see you pulling down someone. We don't see you lying so that favor will come to you. We don't see you putting a block road, in front of a colleague because you feel that block road will now be a stepping stone for you. No, you will crash. So I am desiring that while we are looking at, because the word politics, there's one word there, polity, and it's government. And everywhere for success to take place, good governance takes place. We are crying on Nigeria. We are crying on, we've talked so much that everything rises and falls on leadership. But leadership without people, cannot hold. So we are trusting for people with good values that will, with a teamwork, your going up does not necessarily mean bringing somebody down.
No, thank you so much, Reverend Mali. We are doing awesome. So I read a book. And from what I'm getting from what we are saying is that it has to do with relationship management. And so I read a book. The book I read said, when you get into a corporate environment, there are certain relationships that you have to thrive in a corporate organization. And well, the book, from what I read, it said you have to basically, that might not be everything, but you have to have 3 kinds of relationship. One, they said your operational relationship. Those relationships that will help you get the job done. And then it went on to say strategic relationship. Those that will help you scan the environment. Those people, most times, they are higher than you. They've been there longer, or, they see far ahead of you. People that will present you with the opportunities you have to take your team, further. And then the developmental relationship. Those that will help you be better at what you do. So, sir, can you tell us more about those relationships that we need to manage?
Okay, great. So I'll also give you another perspective of the relationship with horizontal and vertical relationship. So, yes, I agree, operational, the strategic that you mentioned, and what's the other one? Developmental. All these, yes, they are necessary because you cannot live in isolation in a work environment. So you need people. So whilst you're having the lateral, the horizontal relationship with your peers, with your colleagues, how well can you get the job done? How well can I influence others? Perhaps how well can I delegate? How well? So I'll give you an example. So you're in a department called, say, operations, and then someone else is in marketing department or is in communications or front desk. But you need to synergize to get work done. So if you have friends across those places, because your work is kind of interwoven and they're kind of intertwined, where mine stops, yours begin. So if you have better relations, you observe that. Maybe you're going to finance to get a payment passed, but somebody get his own payments quicker than others. And the other person is just waiting. And say, but I submitted my documents. It's been 3 days, they've not passed my payments. But this other guy just strolls in there and say, hey, babe, what's up now? Hey, guy, how's it going? And then how do you do it? Relationship. So those are the horizontal amongst your peers. But then the vertical, then maybe I can align that with the strategic as well. Strategic can also be horizontal as well. But the vertical are those who are ahead of you, your bosses, your line managers, your supervisors, those who are, let's say, the ogas at the top. So you want to have a cordial relationship with them. You want to have a relationship that is friendly, that puts you in a good balance. So that's, because I tell you something about relationship in organizations. It is not in all conversations that you're present. There are conversations that happen behind us. There are conversations that happen above your head.
True.
Because of your level, you are not there when they are going to be taking decisions. So imagine, because I've worked in a system before, so I used to work in the banking industry, and I'll just give you an example of where decisions are made on how to want to right size. I don't want to say downsize, because from the operational angle, they are trying to right size, right? They want to fit a lean budget, lean management, maybe reacting to economy, reacting to budgets, reacting to external environments. And we say, okay, so who are the guys that are key to our business? Who are the guys that we really need? And you see, you're not there where they are doing this list. Maybe your name was there. Somebody comes there among the orgas at the top where you've had a strategic relationship, vertically, and they say, no, that guy is a nice guy. That guy brings so much energy to the room just because of your relationship. Because there is some kind of emotional deposits in that relationship play. You see, that can save somebody's job. But the other guy who feels like, hey, I don't need people. So I give you another example. So I was training an organization. I was coaching in my coaching. So I was coaching someone. I say, no, my personality, I'm not the type that likes to go and greet a guy. I don't want to suck up to anyone. Very self-sufficient. It's a big organization, right? And at that level, she's fine. She thinks she's all right. But you are still ambitious. You want to get to the top. But there is a particular guy at the top who comes and say, I'm not seeing you. I'm not seeing you is a statement, and it's pregnant. It means a lot. So you don't come to greet me, But others will come and greet Oga. Oga, I just get to greet you. And it depends on the language. It depends on culture and tribes. Certain tribes or certain personalities, they expect that, I don't want to be very specific here now, but they expect certain kind of respect. So you've got to be sensitive and intelligent to know how to greet this kind of person and how to greet that other person so that you are in the good books, per se. So relationships are key. Relationship will get you far. There is a limit competence will take you. Get competence, absolutely, you must get competence. But there is a place that relationship can sustain. And there are doors that it takes relationship to open.
Wow, true. Wow, that's amazing. That's a lot. That's a lot. And you said something. You said being strategic. I would like us to take a break, and then when we come back, we'll talk more about how to strategically build relationship. Because you talked about greeting orgas, and so I used to work in a place in the past that there was a lady that would just go to the boss's office. Daddy, I want to say good morning. And the person was doing that regularly.
Yeah.
But her work was suffering. She wasn't really working. And then there was the time for promotion came, and she wasn't given that favor. And somehow I and a friend was giving that favor. And so, what would you say in that situation? So let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk more on strategic relationship building.
Sometimes in life, we find ourselves in a dark place.
Getting kicked out of school just shook my faith because I was like, where were you when this was happening to me? If you loved me, you would have looked out for me.
God felt so far away.
But just in the nick of time, a ray of hope shines through.
He helped me to know that there was a best friend in Jesus.
Even though sometimes we don't hear him or we don't see him, he's actually there.
Stories of men and women who pull through worse experiences filter through to our ears. Hope, joy, peace and love gradually replacing every fear, pain and doubt.
Welcome to 700 Club.
Join us on 700 Club Nigeria and experience stories that will inspire your whole family.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying tuned. And if you're just joining, this is the Viral Virtue Show, that show that promotes a culture of good character, morals, and values. So before the break, we're having an interesting conversation. We're talking office politics, you know, how to navigate office politics. And one of the things we said it's key to know how to build, you know, a relationship. And you talked about how having to greet your guys. And, you know, that's being strategic. And in greetings, there are different kinds of greeting. I think it's about understanding what language of greeting, what kind of greeting your oga, you know, knows or recognizes. Before the break, I gave an example of a lady that will always, daddy, good afternoon, daddy, good morning. Yeah. As in, she never missed that. But somehow when it came for, but her work suffered, though. And when it came for promotion, my brother, you know, she didn't get promoted, but she felt offended. She felt offended that why will he not? Because for us, we didn't really have that morning greeting and afternoon greeting. We didn't really do that. But I would say for me, I will greet, but not as much as she did. But I realized that he valued getting the job done.
Exactly.
And for me, I think that was his own kind of greeting. So I and my friend, I and my friend, we would get the job done. Even when I remember we would have to stay till 9 p.m. to get the job done. And so, yeah, so tell us more about how to greet the ogas.
You know, I mean, so that's a classic example of what not to do. So in leadership, or that's an example also of a good manager or a good leader who understands how to separate sentiments from getting the job done. So it's very easy to see through. For him, he could easily see through that this lady is not here to work. This one is just currying favor through high service, sucking up, as you would say today. You know, but these other guys, they get the job done. Of course, you would not greet the person. Courtesy demands in a professional environment that you would greet, boss or no boss. So you do that, but they just know that, look, my job, I don't even get, like, you know, in a place I work, say, I don't care, get the results. If you like, don't greet me. Give me the result. So if you're intelligent enough to know the kind of boss he is, you understand that what greeting means to him is deliver. If you deliver, and I'm fine. So of course, other people would have learned that if you want to get this job done for this guy, if you want to get ahead, just do your right job and do the minimal of sucking up. Of course, you do all that, you know. So in terms of greetings now, so how do you greet different orgas? So there's usually the professional conduct in every work environment, you know. Once you come into a space, the culture, you know, what is the expectation here? You know, how do we greet? You have to see, there is what we train you. So as a HR person, when we onboard you, we do induction for you because you're a new staff after the orientation. There are certain things that you're told. We're only told what's on the policy and all that, but there are certain things you may not be told. On your own, you would understand it. That's where your own personal, you know, you have your own personal intelligence comes to play here. You know, you need to understand. You might see some culture being displayed, but like that chicken who comes to a place where you're not so sure of, you want to land first with one foot, you stand and say, okay, let me observe, let me see this. I've seen those players. So I've seen someone who came, and we've had to advise some people too. So I've seen like a copper, a youth corps member, or an intern come into an organization, and she just came. She works in the government environment previously. That's where she had served, and now she's serving in a much more global international organization. And then she came to the office, and she just came, good morning.
Wow.
You know, good morning. She just do that, and so someday I had to call her. I said, sit down. You need to understand your environment, right? Whilst this place too, it's an environment that it's a first name based. Nobody cares about your age. It's so flat. The structure is flat. You are not told call somebody Oga or don't call this person Oga. No. You call people by their first name. But there's what we say in our local parlance here, borrow yourself sense.
Exactly.
It's not everybody that says, even while I was working in the bank, there was our MD, you could call him by his name. You could call all the group heads. You could call the EDs by their name.
Oh.
But God help you. If you don't have that relationship with them, don't try it. For your own good and your own sake. Officially, they said do it. But must you do it? What is wrong if you look at the cultural sensitivity and say, Oga, or for this particular one, I would not for which to say Mamana. That was just a nickname. Then I would give the lady Mamana, and it was such a beautiful name that people just saw. Or maybe you say, if it's, and it could be mommy for some people. In civil service, if it's mommy, they are calling you, and you don't want to call mommy. So that's why you need to be smart. So for Christians, we say wisdom.
It's profitable
to direct. Yeah. So borrow yourself.
Sense.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. I don't know if you've heard of this saying, absolute power corrupts.
Absolutely.
You heard it right. Yeah, and but I beg to, it does corrupt, but I also want to say that powerlessness corrupts. Do you agree? Powerlessness corrupts.
How?
Okay, so I will explain. Since we are talking office politics, we said that we want power, influence in order to achieve our goals and thrive. So you come to an organization and you do not have power. You're a hard worker. You know how to get the job done, but you do not have that influence. You do not have that power. How do you feel? And then the person that has nothing seems to be, they are promoting and the person is just rising high, So you start to beef the person, you start to get upset because you are powerless, right? So do you agree? Do you see my point?
You just came into the office space. Or did the person come after you?
We are together now. We've been working, we've been given the same position to do the same thing. And then for some reason, I'm a hard worker. And I don't have influence because I've seen I don't participate in office politics. For me, it's a dirty game. I don't want to, participate in it, right?
Yeah.
And then the person that, understands relationship management seems not to be getting not to be doing as much as I'm doing and is getting so much results. So that's powerlessness, right?
But I think because the person that knows her onions and feels like she's being relegated, she's not given the thing that is due to her, like she knows this thing, but the one that doesn't know it is getting it done. I believe the one that doesn't know it is painting this one in a good light as well. Like, I don't know. What I've taken to my Oga, or I've spoken about it, but you are painted in a good light, but it looks like I'm the one bringing the idea, and then I'm going up there. So relationship still matters a lot, and truly powerlessness would corrupt, because this person that is not getting what she thinks she deserves will actually want to go about it in another way.
Negative life.
Yeah, and that's where, he was talking about sound leadership. That's where godly sound leadership just strikes the balance. So in spite of what is being done, you are to, one of our political parties says power for the people, but yet in power, yes. So our assignment for such people that feel powerless is to give them power to be what they are supposed to be, to bring the best out of the common goal that we want to achieve. So that we also as leaders is dousing, is pulling, is trying to calm down any negative or unethical approach in trying to get favor. Leadership comes to play in such an organization.
Do you have something to add?
Yeah, if I'll add to the conversation, also citing the previous example you gave about yourself and the other colleague and the other lady who didn't get the promotion. So I say, what really motivates people to going to the extreme of what we're talking about? So I see there is a fundamental insecurity there. It's when people are not sure of themselves. It propels them to wanting to go into self-help. Instead of focusing on developing themselves and getting relevance based on their merits and showing what you're capable of, that will be enough for you, right? In addition to just playing by the rules and just maintaining the good, just following the rules. Nobody's asking you to go too extra,
Overboard.
go overboard and all that. So it comes from that insecurity. So once you're not sure of yourself, then you begin to notice that someone might get ahead of you. That is what will propel you to want to steal ideas. That's what's going to, you are discussing with a colleague, oh, I'm thinking about this. The person say, oh yeah, before you know, the other one jumps to Oga or madam and say, what do you think? We should do this. And then the next meeting you're coming and they say, oh yeah, Maria said we should do this. Like, Maria, I just told you over lunch. And you see, that would it will be hurtful to you.
True.
And then next time you're going to mind, how do I, it's not everything I want to tell Maria too. And perhaps if you're the type who is always free giving ideas, it happens once, it happens twice, once beaten this way, they say you fool me once,
you can't fool me again.
you can't fool me once. I mean, you fool me once, it's on you. You fool me twice, it's on me, so shame on me. So once beaten, twice shy. So I have to now be wary and cautious of Maria, because anytime I share my ideas with Maria wants to take the glory and all that. So not to say that you shouldn't share ideas, right? But some people, once you notice that that is just how they thrive, that's how they get ahead in the workspace. So you too, you have to be careful. Just be sensitive to people around that.
Right, well, that's great. So to wrap up the conversation, I would like us to highlight, some of the benefits of playing politics.
All right, thank you. I'll start with a myth, then we'll just talk about the reality. So, number one myth. Office politics is always negative. So from our discussion, it's so clear that office politics is not inherently negative. It involves navigating workplace dynamics and building positive relationships. It becomes problematic when used unethically or to manipulate others, but it can also be a means of collaboration and career advancement when approached with the I word, integrity. 2, a myth. Avoiding office politics is possible. Reality is nearly impossible to completely avoid office politics. Workplace interactions, power dynamics, and decision-making processes naturally involve some level of politics. 3, office politics is always destructive, and we're agreeing to say no. While negative aspects exist, office politics can also lead to positive outcomes. Effective political navigation can result in better teamwork, increased collaboration, and successful project implementation. I just have 2 short ones more.
Okay.
Number 4, office politics is unethical by default. While unethical practices can exist, not all office politics is unethical. Engaging in healthy competition, advocating one's ideas, and negotiating for resource are common and ethical aspects of workplace dynamics. And the final one, office politics is separate from company culture. Office politics is intertwined with company culture. Understanding and navigating office politics effectively often requires aligning with the organization's values and norms. It's not a separate entity, but a reflection of the workplace environment.
No, that's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Mr. Oshoke, would you want to, before we'll be about going on a break, but before we go on a break, your final words on office politics.
All right, so yes, thank you for all. Those are all myths, and thank God from the conversation we've had, we've been able to debunk that and try to also draw out that there are positives that you can take out of this. Just play on the positive side. I love the part about negotiations, where you build partnerships, you build relationships to get a lot done. to the benefits of everyone. So once you understand that, look, I need people, I need to be in people's just be in people's good graces. Not that you would go, you start doing what you're not supposed to do. See, get your job done, do it well, be known for competence. And that way you are able to understand the formal, the informal dynamics of your environments, build connections and positive relationships, develop those soft skills, the emotional intelligence to be able to identify, how to react, being aware of your own emotions, being aware, am I overreacting? How should I react? How should I respond to people in moments like this? Understanding people's dynamic, that person is different, this other person is different. And just knowing why are you here in the first place? You can't shy away from it. Don't take it as a negative thing. Just see it as it's part of the work environment. It's just once you have that basic understanding, it's part of the work environment, and people are doing it because there's this self-protection, self-preservation. If you have that at the back of your mind, then it will help you just know peace and be at peace with it, and you just move on with your career. Just do your parts. Leave the rest to God.
Thank you so much. And I like the part you say you can't shy away from it. Just know how to strategically manage your office politics game. So let's go on a break, and when we come back, we'll play our game.
All right, welcome back, and this is the Viral Virtue Show. If you're just joining us, and it's a show that builds our character, our morals, and our values. We were actually on the topic navigating office politics, so you can always go back and watch. And right now we're going into our game, as you can see. So this game is about us demolishing this height. So this is the way it goes. We're either going to be picking a color or a number. So whatever you start with, you continue with. And this way we would know how we play office politics.
So this is our corporate environment now.
Okay, sir.
Right.
So would give the honors to our guest, Mr. Oshoke. Please, you can begin.
All right. So whichever one you start with, you stay true. All right?
Well, if you pick red or two, I either pick red or two. So that's how.
Okay. Okay.
No, you can't pick from the top.
Oh yeah. You see?
Pick from the top.
That's the first. Oh, this is better. No, pick this.
Oh, nice. Oh, I'm next, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure we can use both hands, yeah?
You can use
You don't,
both hands.
or you, does the rule say you use only one?
No, you can use both hands actually. Because
to
I'm about to
support
use. What's in 1 minute now this?
Yes, Ruth. It's me. Okay. Body man die.
Oh.
Body man die.
You're touching, no. You're touching.
Okay, I'm not
the
the touch. Okay, Abba.
Ewo.
Don't worry, don't be scared. I'm the one talking. That is it. Come on.
Madam Ruth, let's see how well you're able to leave people intact. Oh, wow.
Okay.
She almost went to the roots. Yeah.
Okay.
My turn.
Oh.
Let's start with blue.
Okay. Mine was yellow.
So nice. Let me follow you.
Is mine not yellow?
Yours is green.
Mine is green.
Yes.
Oh, that's a very difficult something. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's down there. Yeah.
Okay.
It's my turn to shine. It's my turn to shine.
It's my turn to what?
Shine.
Hope I'm holding the right thing.
Yeah.
This is strategic picking. Yeah, you got it.
You got it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sure this third one would scatter this game now.
Don't be so sure. We have some strategic planners here.
Let's go.
No, you.
Wow.
Wow.
Lovely.
Okay.
Okay. And you say I can't do this yellow
turn,
here.
no, it's
Oh, it's
my
your turn.
turn.
Good. Abba. If I
But,
just let me just relax.
This is very.
Going, and gone.
Wow.
That's how the cookie crumbles.
Yeah. Well,
Baby.
we will take a course from Mr. Oshoke on how to be strategic in this matter.
Okay, that was fun. But we have come to the end of this show. And if we need more time, we need more sponsors.
Exactly.
So if you would like to sponsor, partner, or place an advert on this show, you can call the numbers on your screen. And if you'd like to watch this over and over again, you can also look on the social media handles on the screen, and you will definitely have a nice time. We did. And to wrap up the show, we have a culture. So we have our pillow, a throw pillow, and you will be signing on it.
Let me help you out with that.
Okay.
All right. Yes.
I think this will be your second time signing.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not sure it's the same pillow though.
It's the same pillow.
It's the same?
Yes. I'm sure if you look, you will find your signature somewhere. Thank you.
Yeah.
We got it.
Thank you
It's
so much.
selfie time.
All right. Please, could you bring the phone?
All right.
So I come this way.
Yeah, come this way. Okay. Yes, please, you're going to come this way.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Are you still recording?
No.
Yes, we are still recording. So
where do I-
okay, let me go this way.
I don't know how to do it.